Hi there, I'm Saul from San Francisco. Please like and subscribe because my story animated will give $1,000 to one lucky person in the coming 7 days. When I was only 2, Mom left Dad because his business was failing miserably, and she didn't want to be with someone poor. But growing up, Dad adored me and made sure I had everything. But over the next few years, he turned really lucky and his business was booming again. And just like that, we were richer than ever. We had a super big mansion, fancy cars, and butlers. On my 4th birthday, Dad said he had a big surprise for me, and I was super excited for it. But then he introduced me to his girlfriend, Linda. Aw, Saul, you're adorable, baby girl. Ew, she was so weird. But very soon I discovered that she was a witch too. The second Dad would turn his back, she would go all crazy on me. You look like a filthy boy from a slum. And what's with your ugly hair? Ew. But Dad wouldn't listen to a word against her. He was so blindly in love. Soon after they got married, and the first thing Linda did was transfer all of Dad's money to her name. A year later, she gave birth to Tanya, who was the cutest. But slowly, Linda started revealing her real face to Dad too. One day, while Dad was getting ready for a business trip, Linda went all bonkers on him. I have a night out with my friends, and you want me to take these good-for-nothing kids with me? You better stay home and do it yourself. Don't talk to me like you're my boss. It's because of me that you get to enjoy all these luxuries. I work hard and I feed everyone here, so don't give me that attitude. Oh, who says I'm not the boss? Saying that, she threw the property papers in his face and asked him to leave her house. This was crazy. But what Dad did was even crazier. He left us forever, and I had to put up with my witchy stepmom. Now, Linda would spend all of Dad's money on shopping and her parties all day long and not even care about Tanya. So I made sure to look after her, and over time, we grew quite close. One day, Tanya fell sick, and I asked Linda to go get her some medicine. But when she came back, her hands were full of shopping bags. And worse, she didn't get the medicine. Seriously, Linda? I can't believe you're doing this to your own daughter now. Okay, I forgot. What's the big deal anyway? It's just a fever. It'll go away on its own. But the important thing is, what will I wear for tomorrow's party? Whoa, this woman was something. Years passed and Tanya started going to school with me, but I was concerned about her grades. So I went to her room to help her with the upcoming tests, but Linda didn't seem happy about it. Why are you trying to make her a geek like you? Isn't it enough that she has the biggest glasses on her nose? For God's sake, let her be like me, growing up and finding a rich husband. That's what smart women do. Ugh, she was horrible, and Tanya was nothing like her. So I made sure to help her when Linda wasn't around. Then one snowy evening, I thought Tanya was outside having snow fights with the neighborhood kids, but what I saw left me shocked. I realized all the kids had ganged up on her and were throwing snowballs at her face. Take this, loser. OMG, he was so done. I ran out and picked up a huge chunk of snow and threw it at him. Don't you dare hurt my sister, dummy. I chased all the stupid kids away and took Tanya inside. A few moments later, Linda walked in, and I told her all about it. So, what should I do? And what did you expect, really? Of course kids are gonna bully her for looking like a loser nerd. Linda, are you crazy? You're her mother. Do something. You want me to do something? Fine. From today, she won't go to school and anywhere outside. And then there'll be no more problems. What? How could she do that? Tanya ran up to her room in tears, and I went after her. Don't worry, little sis. I'll get you out of here. But how? She'd ground me forever if she finds out. Well, then she will never find out. That's when an idea hit me. If I kept Linda distracted, she wouldn't care about us. I swapped Linda's shampoo with green dye, and the next morning, she looked like the freaking Grinch as she ran to the salon in her bathrobe. Tanya and I laughed our butts off and headed off to school. I'd find more ways to keep Linda busy. Later that day, when I went to the school cafeteria to have lunch with Tanya, she didn't show up for quite some time. Just then, I heard someone crying from under the table. I bent down and saw Tanya. Hey, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Come on out. That boy, that Jerry, he took my glasses and pushed me. I couldn't see anything, and everyone started laughing. So I hid here. Oh, God. I marched straight to the boy's table and pulled him up by his shirt. Let me show you who the real gangster is, kid. Whoa, easy, please. What's wrong? I turned around to see Sebastian, a new student who had just joined my class. This guy has been bullying my little sister, and I'm here to teach him a lesson. OMG, I'm so sorry. He's my younger brother, and I'll make sure to teach him better. It's just that we're new here, and he's having a tough time adjusting. But I promise, he won't do it again. He immediately grabbed the glasses from his little brother's hand and put them on Tanya. Well, that was sweet. Later during class, he apologized to me again, and I kind of felt I was too harsh with his brother. Hey, listen, it's just that I'm too attached to Tanya. I feel more like a mom to her, so I couldn't see her crying, and it's all right. I totally understand. Turns out he and his brother were a lot like us. Their mother passed away long ago, and their dad was always away for work, and that connected us instantly. He also suggested that we all go sledding in the evening so that our siblings could get along. It sounded like a great idea, and the four of us actually had a lot of fun together that evening. But as soon as we reached home, I was shocked to find Linda all flared up in anger. You all think you're smart enough to play your little pranks on me? Well, now it's my turn. Tanya, you're grounded forever. No school, no friends, and finally, no sister. 'Cause Saul's moving to an orphanage right now. What? Why? You can't do that. Mom, no, please don't say that. She's my sister and your daughter. No, she isn't. Not anymore. I have signed off the papers and gave up her guardianship. Now she's an orphan. So, pack up your bags and leave my house, Saul, before I kick you out. No, you can't make me leave. I tried to fight her for Tanya's sake, but that evil witch made the guards throw my stuff out of the house, and now I had no other option but to leave the house and Tanya. While I was leaving, Tanya kept screaming at me from the balcony. Please don't go, Saul. What will I do without you? It was hard for me to see her in tears, but I promised her I'd come back for her someday. After that, I kept walking for hours until it started raining, and I stopped at a restaurant. Just then, the waitress came in and asked me what I wanted to eat. Well, I don't have any money, so I'm afraid I won't be able to order anything. But she sneaked me some hot chocolate from the counter and told me it was on her. She seemed like a really nice lady and even asked me if I wanted a job. A job? That'll be great. I didn't want to go to the orphanage, and this way I could earn some money too. So I started working there as a waitress. The lady also offered me a place to live, and I kind of felt like I'd found a new home. Days passed, and I even learned some basic tailoring and designing from the old waitress. Within a month, I was able to design beautiful dresses and sweatshirts out of old, rugged clothes. One day, while I was serving coffee to one of the customers, I accidentally spilled some over her dress. Are you blind? That's a designer piece. She seemed really mad, so I'd said I'd get her something to wear. I ran to the storage room where I had all my designs, and since I couldn't pick one for her, I carried them all to her. Oh my God, these are amazing. Who made them? I did. She looked awestruck by my talent and told me she was a world-famous designer herself. Her name was Angelica Martino. And then she offered me a job as a designer. This was freaking awesome. I couldn't believe my ears. I took this opportunity and followed her to Italy and joined her massive company. And within months, I was making more money than I'd expected. Honestly, I was quite happy, but I always felt that there was something missing from my life. Tanya. I told Angelica I wanted to visit San Francisco, but she wouldn't let me. I can't let anyone go just like that. We have business to do here. And if you still want to go, you can. But then I won't give you any credits for your designs, girl. What? Why had she turned into a Karen? But I wasn't gonna take that rubbish from her. I stormed out of her office, taking all my savings and cutting up all the designs I made for the company so they couldn't use them. Yeah, and I could hear the witch Angelica's screams as far up as the plane. As soon as I landed in the city, I crashed into someone I'd never imagined. Sebastian. Saul, is that you? Oh my God, I was so worried. I had no idea where you'd gone. Are you okay? Suddenly, I burst into tears and told him everything that happened, and he asked me to move into his place with him and Jerry. I said yes, and he took me to his huge mansion. And seeing the brothers taking care of each other made me think about Tanya even more. So I went to see her the first thing in the morning with Sebastian, but I was super shocked to see her all alone. She ran towards me as soon as she saw me and burst into tears. "Oh, Saul, where were you? I missed you so much. You said you'd come back for me, and I waited for you every single minute of every day. I felt so lonely without you. I missed you too, little sis. I thought about you every single day, and I'm so sorry that I made you wait for so long. But now that I'm here, I promise, I'm never gonna leave you alone, and I'll make up for everything." Then she told me that Linda had been living away with her rich boyfriend for months now, and she had left Tanya all by herself. She was unbelievable. I took Tanya with me to Sebastian's place, and I even filed a case against Linda for Tanya's custody, and she happily gave it away to me. Good riddance. After that, I opened my own fashion store. A few years later, Linda came back after getting dumped by her fraud boyfriend who took all her money and ran away. "I raised you all those years, so I deserve half of the money from your fashion store. You can't say no." "You didn't raise me, Linda. You just threw me out of my own house like trash. And now I'm returning the favor." "Yeah, Mom, I'd prefer to see you homeless because you're the worst mother on earth. Just get lost." "Oh, on second thought, why homeless when we can put her in jail? The right place for terrible people like her." We finally called the cops and filed a case against Linda. We won, and she was thrown in jail for years. And Tanya and I lived happily ever after.
Hi, I'm Emily from Scotland. Ever since I was a kid, I've been sure of two things. I'm adopted, and my parents are big, fat liars. Also, I think I know who my real mom is. But before I continue, please like and subscribe. My sisters and I are triplets, except Daisy and Rose have red hair, green eyes, and freckles, just like my parents. But I'm blonde and blue-eyed. I look nothing like my family. On our third birthday, when my parents invited all the neighbors, everyone was staring at me like I was some exotic zoo animal.
Wow, she looks like an angel. So different from her sisters.
She's gorgeous! Kind of makes up for the other two, eh? Just then, my sisters came charging at me with a ketchup bottle and squirted it all over my head. There, now you look more like us. I also discovered soon that my sisters were super dumb, so we couldn't be related. Once I told them if they buried their pocket money, a whole tree would come out, and they did! Months later, when they said their money wasn't growing, I burst out laughing, and they attacked me. "You awful witch! I wish you were our sister!" "I'm not, you fools! I'm adopted!" My parents looked like I'd slapped them.
Who taught you that word, Emily? Do you know what it means?
"Mom, Dad, I read books, and I'm not stupid."
Stop reading rubbish. You're our daughter, and that's the truth.
But I wasn't buying it. I was always imagining who my real parents might be, and if they'd come for me someday. Someone rich and famous, I hoped. In the 7th grade, I was reading in the lounge one day when my sisters walked in with suitcases. "You were right, Emily. You are adopted, and your real mom's here for you." "What are you talking about? Haven't you seen the lady who's moved in next door? She looks exactly like you. So take your things and leave." I just ignored those morons. But suddenly, they grabbed me by my arms and legs and threw me out. I was banging furiously on the door when I heard someone behind me.
Oh, hello. I'm your new neighbor.
When I turned around, we both gasped. Oh my God! This woman did look like me! She was staring at me like I was a ghost. Suddenly, she turned and ran away. What just happened? I had to find out more about her. I tried spying on her with binoculars, but her curtains were always closed. One day, I baked some cookies and took them to her as a welcome present, but no one opened the door. As I was walking away, I saw her looking at me from a window. Was she avoiding me? One evening at the library, I was so lost in my book that I didn't realize it was so late. I started walking home, but as I went further, everything looked unfamiliar. I was feeling a bit lost and scared, when suddenly a toothless woman jumped out of an alley and grabbed my wrist. "What a pretty girl you are! Just like me! Let's go home." "Let go of me, you mad cow! That's no way to talk to your mother!" Just then, an egg came flying out of nowhere and hit the woman in the eye. She yelled in pain, and I turned around to see my neighbor hitting her with more eggs. The crazy woman ran away, cursing us. I thanked my neighbor for saving me, and she said she'd take me home. As we were walking back, she suddenly spoke. I'm sorry I ran away that day. I was just a bit startled because you remind me of someone. I'm Gladys." Just then, Gladys saw the book in my hand, and it turned out she was a huge Shakespeare fan too. She invited me in for dinner, and we talked about books for hours. This woman could totally be my mom. The next night, I'd just fallen asleep when I woke up gasping as water hit my face. Wake up, sleeping moron! The neighbor's here to take you away! Wait, what? I ran downstairs and peeked into the study to find Mom screaming at Gladys.
Are you crazy? Emily's our daughter. We don't want you to talk to her. Just stay away from her, lady, or else. Now get out of my house.
Gladys ran out in tears, and I was stunned. What weren't they telling me? Could Gladys really be my mom? The next morning at breakfast, as Mom and Dad were acting completely normal, I snapped and pushed my cereal bowl off the table. Are you just gonna keep lying to me forever? Why was Gladys here last night? And what are you hiding? I already know I'm adopted. So why can't you just say it? Is she my mom?
You are not adopted. You listen to me, Emily. I don't know what that woman's been telling you, but she is crazy. You are not to go near her ever again. Understood?
I kicked my chair aside and stormed off. Gladys hadn't even told me anything, but I was surely gonna ask her now. That night, once everyone was asleep, I climbed out my window and landed softly below. The second I turned around, I screamed and fell back in fright. Mom was sitting on a lawn chair, trying to kill me with her cold stare.
If you don't stay away from Gladys, I'll tell the police she's dangerous and I'll get a restraining order. If you don't want me to do that, I suggest you climb back up that window right now.
I wasn't gonna argue with her. She was like a psycho. I had no chance to meet Gladys because Mom was watching me like a hawk. But thankfully, summer break ended soon and I could finally leave the house. My sisters and I had joined a new middle school, and as soon as we entered the building, Daisy and Rose suddenly pinned me against the wall. Just stay away from us here, okay? Don't tell anyone that we are related to you. I was about to spit at them when suddenly a bunch of boys surrounded us and pulled the two away.
Why are you tomato heads hurting the prettiest girl in the school? You want us to throw them in the trash, Goldilocks?
I told the boys to let them go this once, and my sisters gave me death stares as they stormed off. But these boys were just stuck to me like glue all day. They were offering to carry my bag, make my notes in class. At recess, I excused myself for the bathroom and sprinted off to the library instead. I needed some peace. As I walked in, I bumped straight into someone with a tall pile of books, and I saw who was behind them. Gladys?
Emily, what are you doing here?
It turned out she was the school librarian. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Listen, I really need to know what you and my parents...
No, Emily, stop. I can't talk to you. I think it's best if you stay away from me. I'm sorry.
And with that, she hurried away. Arr! I was losing my mind. But I wasn't giving up so easily. I went back the next day and walked up to her desk. I won't ask you any questions, I promise. But can we please just be friends again? I'll only talk about books. Gladys slowly smiled at me, and after that, we started hanging out every day. My dumb sisters would never set foot in the library, so I was safe, and I would slowly get closer to Gladys. And the truth, one day she invited me to play, so I told Mom I'd be working on a science project with my group, and we spent an amazing evening together. Later at dinner, I told her about the shy boy Jonas in my class I wanted to ask out on Valentine's Day, and she smiled. Of course, you have to do with the Shakespeare sonnet. There's nothing more romantic. Thanks, Gladys. Later that night, I practiced the sonnet in my room. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more. Just then, Mom walked in and asked me what I was doing, and I told her I was working on asking out a boy.
The freaking sonnet? Who needs Shakespeare when you have Taylor Swift? Just say to him, if you could see that I'm the one who understands you, been here all along, so why can't you see? You belong with me. You belong with me.
And she was doing dance moves that made me laugh so hard. Mom was funny.
Let's go shopping tomorrow, and I'll buy you a dress to knock this boy's socks off.
We did, and we had such a fun time together. I came home with bags of clothes and shoes, and my sisters' faces turned as red as their hair. I had to admit, I was enjoying this two moms thing. And, well, I did ask Jonas out simply by saying, "Wanna go out with me?" And he said yes. That was easy. A few weeks later, I heard a loud tap on my window at night, and Jonas was standing outside. I let him in. We started making out in the dark. Just then my door flung open, and someone came flying at us, knocking us down to the ground.
What are you trying to do now? Kidnap my daughter?
Mom, get off of him! It's just my boyfriend!
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I saw someone walking across the garden and I panicked. Come downstairs, boy. I'll give you a cookie.
But Jonas screamed like a little girl and ran out the window at lightning speed. I was so mad at Mom for scaring him off. When I told Gladys was 2 or 3 years old? Why didn't I remember anything? Just then, I saw something much worse. The curtains were freaking open, and someone was staring right at us from my house. My stupid sisters! They grinned at me and ran off immediately. Oh no, no! Seconds later, I heard screams from downstairs. I ran downstairs to find Mom and Gladys rolling around on the ground, pulling each other's hair. I told you to stay away from my daughter! She's also my daughter! Why don't you let her decide? I think she likes me more. Just stop this, you guys! I need answers, now! All you need to know is that I'm your mother. No, I am! Oh my god! I need DNA tests from you both! And they both refused and started fighting again. This was ridiculous. I charged straight at them and I pulled a few hairs out of their heads. Ow! I'm getting the test done. And then I'll yell. As I was running out the door, they both screamed. Okay, I'm not your mother. I turned around in shock. Now suddenly they both want my mothers? And finally, they started telling me the truth. My mom said that I was her sister's daughter. We both had kids around the same time. But she felt really sick after giving birth to you. And she made me swear that I'd never let you know you're not mine. And you are mine. Emily, you're my blood. My eyes swelled up when I found out my real mom was gone. And who are you, Gladys? Suddenly, she broke down into tears. I had a daughter who looked just like you, but she had an accident a few years ago, and when I met you, it felt like I had my baby back. I tried to stay away from you, but I couldn't. That night, I came to ask your parents if I could adopt you, and of course, they refused. I just miss my daughters so much. As I looked at them both, I realized they'd both lost people they dearly loved, and I could make them both hurt a little less. I love you, Mom, and I'm sure you're as good as Mom as my own would have been. And Gladys, I love you too, and you can always think of me as your daughter. Well, now I finally know who my real mom is. And I've got 2 really amazing ones too. And turns out, I am related to my sisters. They're just my dumb cousins now.